There we go, can't get wrong. I just walked out of the hotel room. Even got an arrow there. Follow the yellow brick road. So third day towards Fisterra, and we're going to stay by the sea tonight. Woo! I haven't seen the sea for a long time, not since we were back in England. It's always quite reassuring when you get up in the morning and you can open the door and actually get out of the albergue or the hotel or the pension you're staying in. It's only happened to us twice where we've been locked in, but impressively locked in. One was we stayed in a new block, and you came out of that and it went into a little courtyard garden, which was really nice. But then to get out of there, the only way out was to go into the bar, which was locked. And we went searching all the little sheds and bits and pieces. There was no way out. You were stuck in this little courtyard garden. And luckily there was a chef working at 6 o'clock in the morning, and managed to get the chef to eventually open the door to the bar. But then we were locked in the bar because the door out of the bar was one of those sort of deadlocked ones, so you couldn't even get out there as well. So that was one. I think the other one was we were locked in. Yeah, so Kerry's saying it's 3. It's not quite 3 because we had a bit of a hiccup because one, we were staying in some private rooms, and they always have a shoe, especially for albergues. They have a bit where you go and put your shoes, which is quite nice. Seeing all the shoes all lined up there, and Kerry had left the shoes where she should do, which was next to the bar. But we couldn't get into the bar. we got up. You could get out of the albergue, but Kerry didn't have her shoes. Her shoes were locked into the bar, and she could get to. We had to wait for them to open the bar for breakfast. We were going to leave before, so we got up early to have a good early start, and then we had to wait until the bar staff got up for breakfast, which wasn't silly. I think about 15-20 minutes when Kerry get her shoes. But then we had another one, and that was a hotel, and we had a key for the outside door, and the outside door double locked, but it wouldn't work. And when we came back, not particularly late at night, we couldn't get in, but luckily there was some late night staff, so they let us in. They tried to get the key to work, couldn't get it to work, and then we got up in the morning, couldn't get out the front door. And luckily we found a side door that let us into the garage, which is where I filmed the chickens, and then from the garage, the door out of the garage, you could open from inside the garage. So there you go, heads up, is suss out how you're going to get out of the albergue in the morning. Well, depends whether you're an early riser. As you can see, we like to make an early start, and then we're done by lunchtime. So it works well if it's hot. It just works well all the way around. So some of the places, if they're really geared up, I'll do breakfast from 6 o'clock in the morning. A lot of the hotels and stuff don't. So you usually go and find a cafe, but because we're the Fisterra one doesn't seem to be. There's a reasonable number of pilgrims on it, but I guess not enough not yet anyhow, to justify getting up at 6. So we've got about a 5k walk, by which time we'll hit a cafe and really get some breakfast. A lovely morning. Always hear their cockles. It's going to be a bit strange coming back home and not hearing a cockerel. Some of the places it's like all over the place. These are the biggest arrows we've seen anywhere. Not going to miss those. A river this morning. I think it's supposed to be the only river in Europe that when it meets the sea, it hits it as a waterfall. It's like, well, I don't know, I've been in Norway. It's just masses of rivers. Maybe they're not quite big enough. One of those stats things, isn't it? And it's like, oh no, in Norway it's not a sea, it's the end of a fjord. It's like, oh, okay. I think it's a new regional area for us. Umbria. It's been a bit, uninspiring this morning. We've been on this road for quite a while. Had a nice little detour for 20 minutes maybe onto a gravel track, which was nice, but mostly along the road. Very quiet road, luckily. Occasional car or lorry that goes along. But, walking along the edge of a tarmac road is not the most fun, and it's sort of in between a fog and a drizzle, so it's quite warm. I've got my jacket on, not my raincoat, and it's a wee bit damp. Even less inspiring from it with a concrete wall. Well, there are loads of lovely mosses growing on there. First arborgy we went past, I was thinking about opening up. I tend to go through a normal sort of ritual of they rock up for work, have a little read of the paper, have a cigarette, have a cup of coffee, then I'll move some chairs around. I'd turn the machine on. That takes 15 or 20 minutes to warm up, and then they're open for business. It's a nice start to the day, unless you're a walker that wants to stop for 10 minutes and grab a quick coffee and move on. So we had to give that one a miss. But I think they're about every 5k today, so we're getting on now. Again, lots of these maize stores. Look, one there in a state of oh, another one up there as well. Ah, that's good. That was a 2 coffee stop. There you go. Unusual. I only have one usually, but had a cortado and a con leche. And another grain store up there. And another one in front of us. Oh, well, there we go. So a good coffee buzz. Just saw Wim this morning. He's walking through to Fisterra today, but got a day off tomorrow, so we should catch him tomorrow. So we're not getting to Fisterra until tomorrow. We're stopping. We're stopping at sea today, and I think I've got about 19k to go, and then we get to Fisterra the day after. But Wim will be in. He's having a day off in Fisterra tomorrow. So classic, isn't it? You walk past the place, you don't see a coffee shop, or if you do, they're closed, and then you find 2 right after each other. So after you. Ooh, you gotta go down a long way to your washing there. God, just look how clear the water is. Wow, I thought we had clear water on Dartmoor. On a new level over there. And there's lots of granite. Well, I'm on some concrete here. So clear, isn't it? Reminds me of Norway. You go in Oslo and you go into the harbour, and the boats look like they're floating on air rather than floating on water. And you see the bottom of the harbour and keels of the boats and the props and all sorts of stuff that I've never seen anywhere else. When we came back from Bergen, I think it was, into Newcastle, it was like coming up a sewer. Although I think probably, to be fair to Newcastle, a lot of it was probably silt rather than flotsam and jetsam coming down. Or maybe I'm just being kind to Newcastle. There's a hill up there in the clouds. Actually quite pretty now. They've lost the walking in the clouds, which is too warm. So you put your coat on and you're perspiring, and you don't put your coat on and you're a bit like being in a sauna. Well, steam room, that's what. But it's a bit of freshness now. I think it's supposed to be burning off as the day goes forward. Should be good. A bit of sunshine will encourage me to go for a swim in the sea a bit later. There's a wind vane there, hidden in the mist. It's not turning. I think it's actually not a wind turbine, it's a big aeroplane that's flying down low. Yeah, a reservoir down below us. It's quite pretty. And we're off the road. Happy days. It's a nice little gorge. Oh, I can see some blue sky. Anyhow. Oh, that one's going for it. It's another plane that's coming through the clouds. Oh, there's two there. Twin prop plane. Beautifully clear water. This is a nice valley. It's getting nice and fresh now. Just got the pretty clouds on the hilltops. Not quite sure what the factory is. I thought a while ago it was a nuclear power station, but I don't think so. But then it has got all some electrical generation of some description, I think. Could be the other way around, of course. Could be power coming in rather than going out. There you go, just doing my research. It's aluminium smelting, makes silica and all sorts of other stuff. They put it into steel to make stainless steel, and concrete to make a denser concrete. And they've run a couple of hydro plants that go and power this one, so it's kind of a green energy. That was cool. Well, we're going to the beach. I don't know how far it was now. I think maybe it's 12k, something like that. Something like that. Oh yeah. So we just left that cafe by the aluminium smelting bit. And then we got a cracking walk through the countryside. Coming down, I'm sure they don't pronounce it C, but C-double-E. When that Spanish pronounce that one, find out tonight. Not sure if the clouds coming down or we've gone up. Never got a telephone mast up to, so it might be the case we've gone up. But it's not as damp as it was this morning. Actually, there's a nice freshness to the air, so that's alright. Okay, well, we stop here. I got a stone in my shoe.
Just what I was going to say, I'm going to stop here.
Strange way that the rocks are raised. It's almost like a river bottom, but it's obviously not up top here. Just got to be the rain. Weird, eh? And the sea's that way. But lots of pilgrims this morning. Look at all the pine needles on the wall from the Scots pines. Cool, we just got all morning, we've hardly seen anybody, maybe a couple of people, and then all of a sudden they'll be gone again, right? We were just talking about, we got into Santiago on a Tuesday, and there were 1,700 people came in that day. And then Harry said on Friday there was a bit over 3,000 people got in. Most of the people that do the 100k do it Monday to Friday. So avoid leaving Sarri on Monday and avoid coming to Santiago on the Friday. And then we talked to Brad, when he did it in 89, they get 40 or 50 people come in a day, and they would read out all the names of the people that got in at the cathedral. You're not going to read out 1,700 names the day we got in, or Friday 3,000 names.
Nationalities then.
Yeah, they did read out the number of people of each nationality that time. Well, I didn't hear that bit. You get these funny bits, we get bottlenecks for photo opportunities. He's good. I'm liking him.
You like that?
Well, we had to turn a while ago. So this is for the people that missed the turning.
Or those who want to come and see them all.
Oh, okay. All right, we'll let them off. Maybe. Oh, had a flower tribute. 27,280. Got a mouthful of nuts. Some quite nice views. Working through a standard commercial woodland. We're enjoying it this bit. It's actually been felled, so we've got a nice. It's got quite a little bit sticky, but the wind is nice. Can't be far off. Having a view down to the sea. Kind of reminiscent of clearance farming. Obviously not, but it's all commercial woodland around here with the wind turbines whirring away on the top. Little village over there. I'm hoping over this rise we're going to have a slightly different view than this cleared bit of commercial woodland, but we'll see. There we go, there's a good sign. We've got a telephone tower, and then over here I think it might be a microwave tower, not sure. Or maybe it's a forest fire observation point, I'm not sure. But we would expect to get, in fact I think over the next ridge, which is going to be by those towers somewhere, that we're going to see the sea. But it's got, it's almost blue. You can kind of feel the sun trying to come out, but hasn't yet. I'm listening to a podcast at the moment on ancient Iraq, one of the first civilizations on the planet. It's interesting. I thought we were going to go up over the top, but look, we got some bright orange rucksacks, so we're going that way. And oh, we just saw her disappear. Somebody going over that way, heading over that way. So not quite as quick over this ridge as I was hoping, but we'll get there eventually. 1 footstep at a time. The dew on the foxgloves looks amazing. 22,963. Yeah, I think that's far off. I think we're about 20k tomorrow. So, yeah, it kind of suggests that we're 2 or 3 kilometres out of sea, maybe. Northern red oak. There you go. It's a new one for me. Sort of leaves. Oh well, that's a sweet chestnut. This is the red oak. Bit of a nicer section, but still a little bit boring. Nice, I've got a few deciduous trees and the Scots pine to our left. This is a bit of entertainment. We thought it was like a fire thing, but I wonder whether it's actually a transit mark. You know, if you can see that from sea, you line up two objects, and that gives you a line out to sea for the boats to come in on. Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. It's definitely taken a long time to walk through this wood. But, nice easy walking. I keep thinking, oh come on, we're going to break over the top and get a view of the sea or get a view of some farmland and then get a blue sky over there. It keeps going on. There's lots of sweet chestnut trees being planted on the sides. We've got a view, 19851, but not of the sea. Finally, can see the sea. Yeah, thanks to looks a bit mystical coming out of the clouds. It's quite a steep descent. Oh. Just about. It's a long time seeing. We've walked from the Pyrenees to see those. Of course, we could have just gone north from where we started, and then in a day or two we would have been on the North Spanish coast. I like the trees, but when you've been walking for I can't remember, 48, 49 days, coming to see the sea, and the trees are blocking your view, it's like but we keep walking and we're going to run out of land for the trees to be living on. Saw a boat and some racks. It's just to my left. I think I can hear the waves, not sure. Little glimpses through the trees, tantalising. You can see the town of C, CEE, next to the sea, SEA, CC. I'll try and multitask again. This one was posted on the Facebook group. I quite liked it. Bianca Sparacchino, been translated. The kindest people are not born that way, they're made. They're the ones that have experienced so much at the hands of life. They are the ones who have dug themselves out of the dark, who have fought to turn every loss into a lesson. The kindest people do not just exist. They choose to soften where circumstances have tried to harden them. They choose to believe in goodness because they have been first-hand why compassion is so necessary. They've been seen first-hand why tenderness is so important in the world. That's the twin of the smelting plant we saw at the top, that are both powered by, I think, by that river that cascades into the sea. Looking good for a swim later. thought I could hear the sea, but the sea is flat as a dab. And so what I can actually hear is the smelting works working away. It's a big old boat. A tug. Looks quite nice with the blue and grey. Fisterra's over that way, about 18k. And then when we get to Fisterra, I think it's 3.5k out to the headland.
Yeah.
It shows you how humid it's been today. That grass is still wet. It's pretty with the beads of water in it. Beads of water sailing in. I was thinking, oh, this doesn't feel like a normal woods we've been walking through. So, like there was a little leaf there, and it's called blackwood. I thought, oh well, yeah, it's pretty densely shaded in here. I suspect the blackwood's got nothing to do with how densely shaded it grows. And of course, because it's so densely shaded, there's nothing growing underneath. A bit like we get in the UK with rhododendrons. But, you know, they were imported for the Victorian gardens and then escaped. And you find it widely in our commercial woodlands these days. And it produces such a dense shade and will grow in such shaded conditions that actually none of the native trees can germinate underneath it. So you have to go and, when you fell your woodland, the seed bank is there in the soil. You have to go and clear the rhododendron to allow the light to get in for that seed bank to germinate, or you can plant your saplings, fast track things a few years. It's a very fine timber. It's used for musical instruments and veneers. But, okay. Yeah, steeply going down, but this is cracking, so a lovely little view. Like, you can actually just see the harbour there and the sea and the town behind it. Lovely. Come up for a plan with me. I've got my old trainers in the bag. I mean, they're not completely knackered, although I have to say that I've got a bit of a rip behind one of the toes and some holes in the back of the heels on the insides. But and I was thinking, well, I've worn my new shoes for 2 days now. The speed goats, they're great, no problems with those. And so I could throw them in the bin. It's like, oh, that's a bit of a shame. But, so I'm going to see if I can buy myself a succulent, and I'm going to plant up one of my shoes with a succulent. I was going to do it in Fisterra, and I was thinking, well, Fisterra, the pagan tradition, is end of the world, where you throw away all your troubles, and Muxia is where you're reborn. So I thought, oh, well, you're planting something to live. It's kind of reborn, isn't it? So I'm going to plant one of my shoes up and leave it in Muxia with a succulent to hopefully amuse other pilgrims. Take the other one home just to confuse the aircraft security. They're going, whoa, what's this guy doing? Only one shoe. But I'm going to do the same thing at home. Plant the other shoe up at home with the succulent in. Kerry says she wants a Camino shrine at home. Well, the idea was we're going to go and throw lots of stuff out. I quite like the idea of getting one of the tiles, Camino tiles, with the arrow and a scallop shell. And sounds like quite a nice idea. And there we go. The other bit that people traditionally do is they burn all or some of their clothes. It's discouraged now. I'm not very good at all the synthetic materials, nylons and rubbers and bits and pieces in there. But there is supposed to be a fire pit at Fisterra. So I've got some tissue, I've got some Vaseline, I've got a lighter that I've been carrying with me all the way back from England. It's still in my bag. So we just need to pick up some little twigs and we'll make up a little fire in Fisterra. maybe even get a marshmallow, toast a marshmallow on it, and make a schmooze, or schmooze, or schmooze. 2 biscuits, some marshmallow, some jam. I got some of these at home. Copper tips. I'm not sure they look like copper tips really, but it's a good name. I like it. We'll go with that. Oh. I just point out Eurovelo number 1, which is I think 11,000 kilometres long. So it starts up in the Arctic Circle in Norway, and then comes all the way down the Norwegian coast and sort of Holland and Belgium, and then down the west coast of France. Very good. And then it goes along the north coast of Spain, and then before it gets to the west coast, it drops down sort of on the Spanish-Portuguese border-ish, right down to the Med, and then goes all the way up the west coast of Portugal, back north again. That's a serious cycle route. Most of the time we've been following the Eurovelo 3. That one's pretty long as well. I think that's sort of like France and northern Spain. You're getting fairly close to the end when you see a business that obviously we've got Fisterra first tomorrow. So we're here tonight in C. I don't know what it is. A bit short of 17k, I think. Maybe to Fisterra tomorrow, but then got the weird bit where it's about, I think it's about 3.5k out to the headland. So that's 7k there and back to go out to the headland at Fisterra on top of the 17k. And then a lot of people do Fisterra to Muscia in a day, but we're taking 2 days. Kind of about winding down really. I think only about sort of 12 or 14k. So that'd be quite nice. And then we've actually got a couple of nights in Muscia, so we've got a day off in Muscia. Before we catch a bus to Santiago and then get ourselves out to the airport to hire a car for 6 days. And then working our way down to Portugal to fly home. Oh, a graveyard's a bit similar to home. Looking out there. They normally have those sort of pigeonhole things. You know what I mean? Almost doesn't look real. Paper flowers in somebody's garden. It's a bit different. I don't think they're stones, but they're going to look like stones. Okay then, Johnny boy, what's going on here? What are they doing? Well, they put their heads out of the water. I think we're working our way up, so it might be brackish water or even fresh water, but we're a little away from the sea now. So that's what's going on. It is clear water, look at that. And I'll tell you, it's compared to the rivers and bits and pieces, it's warm. I'm trying to figure out why it reminds me of Scotland. Kerry did the Northwest 500. That bit doesn't, but and the town doesn't. But I think it must be the way the hills roll into the sea. That's the bit that reminds me of Scotland. That sort of size hills, obviously, conurbation's not. I can't believe how warm the sea is compared to. I stood in there a little while, and the rivers I've been down, it gets a bit fresh. I'm going to go for a swim in a second. I've changed my mind about the apartments. Lots of these places I think look really quite ugly. The Spanish towns, but they're quite typically 5 stories high. And actually, when you stay in the apartments are really big. Then lovely, great windows, that modern sumptuous glazed windows, and you end up with a much more densely populated town, rather than, you know, in England everybody wants a little toy box, self detached house, and so you end up with suburbs that go on forever and ever. I mean, look at this, you end up with that's where the town stops. We walked down for hours and hours. But, so you end up with this town, and then the countryside. It's just lovely. And then, because everybody lives in quite close together, you know, the parks and the cafes and stuff are all quite busy. Right, let's go have a little swim. Oh, this is lovely. Longest swim I've had doing a Camino in the sea. It's fresh, but pleasantly fresh. Just had a coffee, buzzing for that one. Can't believe we're going to be in Fisterra tomorrow. It's just nuts. It's only, I think it's about 15k. And I assumed that was to the town, but actually that's to the lighthouse, which is the 3.5k past the town. And there's supposed to be a really funky cafe there. And if we call in the tourist information, which I think Kerry said's open till 12, something like that, we can get a Fisterra certificate, which would be kind of fun, and it looks really cool. It's that's a kind of nautical themed one, and then so we're there tomorrow night, and then we're spending 2 days walking to Muxia. 2 really short days, so only about 12-13k, so really easy days, you know, sort of a third of what we normally walk, which would be a nice kind of wind down. And where we're staying in between those two is another beachy resort, so because it can be really tricky to get into the sea around here, but this is super sheltered. And then got 2 nights in Muxia for that day off, and I'm quite looking forward to, that was one of catching a bus back to Santiago. I think that'd be kind of fun. Just slowly get used to the idea that we can move quicker than by foot. We need a gradual introduction, and then we haven't quite figured out how we get from Santiago to the airport, which is just outside, but there'll be shuttle service. I've hired a car over there. I haven't quite planned what our trip is. I think we've got 6 days, so, and our flight's really early in the morning, so Kerry's booked us a hotel right next to the airport, which will be good for catching a flight back, get the car put on the other side, and I think she wants to go to Vigo. Like Jazzy's been there, so we'll definitely have a night in Vigo. I think we're going to head north, because they got some amazing cliffs, and it will just be a northwest bit of Galicia, and then work our way down, and then this bit of coastline here is supposed to be absolutely awesome, but I think we're going to kind of see a fair chunk of that over the next 3 days, so we don't need to drive that piece. But then the coast above Vigo is supposed to be really cool. Below Vigo I think it starts to get big open beaches and sand dunes and stuff, which I'm not quite so much into. I like where the granite mountains meet the sea.